Hi folks, welcome to the TBR selection video for March 2025. As usual, I shall be using the bingo balls of fate to determine which shelf I'm going to choose books from, and then the decision dice of destiny to decide which books on that shelf I'm going to read next month. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, let's choose the two vintage shelves that we're going to select books from this month using the 12-sided dice. There are 12 vintage shelves. Shelf 1 and shelf 8. Right, shelf 1's right up the top here. So we're in the realms of Aldous and Anderson and Asimov. Now then, I want to read The Interpreter. It's a nice slim book. That'll do me for March. So that's number 1. I'm contemplating a reread of Heliconia, so why don't we just pull out... Well, I'll do the whole of the Heliconia trilogy, but I'm only intending to read Spring, so that's 2. Really should read more Paul Anderson. Agent of the Terran Empire, is that? Yeah, I think Agent of the Terran Empire is the first of the Flandry novels, so that could be quite good. Now, Piers Anthony, I really ought to give a go. I think I'm going to pick the Vicinity Cluster, not least to see if I actually want to keep all of those cluster books. I read Caves of Steel last year and really enjoyed it, so I'm wondering if I should do a reread of The Naked Sun. I have not read The End of Eternity, so let's make that number 6. Okay, let's see what the Dice of Destiny have in store. Dice of Destiny for shelf 1. Number 2. So it is not The Interpreter, nor is it Agent Flandry, or Vicinity Cluster, or The Naked Sun, or The End of Eternity. But it is Heliconia Spring. And I've had these editions since they came out in the mid-80s. Shelf came up last month. I get another crack at it. So let's see if I can choose some different books this time. I'll go with Non-Stop, because I would like to read that. Fall of Moondust. Haven't read that for a long time. How about Clone by Richard Cowper? Actually, I haven't read any Michael Coney, so let's see. What have we got here? Bronson Mech. Let's go with Hello Summer Goodbye. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go with 10,000 Light Years from Home. Dream of Wessex. I think I might have picked that last time as well, but so what? Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dice of Destiny for shelf 8. 5. So it is not Non-Stop, or A Fall of Moondust, or Hello Summer Goodbye, or just Goodbye if you were to read this spine. It's not Clone, nor is it 10,000 Light Years from Home, but it is A Dream of Wessex by Christopher Priest. Very nice. Bingo balls of fate for March. Shelf 25. This is shelf 25. So let's just move these two out of the way for a minute. So I'm going to go with Farseer. And then let's go with Tea from an Empty Cup. White Queen, I'd really like to read. I'll go with Eon. I've read A Memory Called Empire. And well, these two are here, so we'll go with one of those. So let's do this. Let's do this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Dice of Destiny for shelf 25. Number 3. Okay, so it isn't Farseer. I'll read that one day. It's not Tea from an Empty Cup, nor is it either of those two, or Greg Bear's Eon, but it is Gwyneth Jones' White Queen. Cool. What is she wearing on her head? Shelf 43. This is shelf 43, which comes up fairly frequently for some reason. I already have Heliconia, so I'm not going to do those. I already have Christopher Priest. Let's go with Bugjack Baron, Santa Roga Barrier, Voyagers, Wolf Flow, and Kite World. Oh, actually, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to do This Is the Way the World Ends and Kite World. So let's see what the Dice of Destiny have to say. Dice of Destiny for shelf 43. Number 6. So it's not Bugjack Baron, or the Santa Roga Barrier, or Voyagers, or Warflow, or This Is the Way the World Ends, but it is Kite World by Keith Roberts. Nice. Shelf 17. So this is shelf 17, which is where the Ballards live. Okay, so I'm going to give High Rise a crack of the whip, and let's see, one of his early disaster books, The Drought, perhaps. Way Station, I really ought to read. I enjoyed The Death of Grass, so we could give John Christopher another go. Gwyneth's already had one crack of the whip this month, so don't be greedy. Let's go with More Than Human, so that's 5. And then for my 6, I think I'm going to pick Vacuum Flowers. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see what the Dice of Destiny have in store for shelf 17. 1. Okay, so it's not Vacuum Flowers or The World in Winter or More Than Human or The Way Station or The Drought, but it is High Rise. So let's see how I get on with my third ballad. Shelf 45. This is shelf 45. Let's move this out of the way. I would like to read Genesis by Paul Anderson. Keep it light. Space opera. I could go with Sea of Rust and These Burning Stars, and then I think The Bowl of Heaven is the first of that one. And Red Solar's Wakes. Alright, so that's 6. So I've got a few fairly recent books there. Dice of Destiny for shelf 45. Number 4. Okay, so it's not Paul Anderson, Genesis, nor is it Space Opera, nor is it Sea of Rust, or Red Scholar's Wake, or Bowl of Heaven. But it is These Burning Stars, which is a space opera, I believe. So happy days. Shelf 50. Okay, this is shelf 50. So we could go with Bob Shaw, Ragged Astronauts. Steerswoman, I hear is meant to be really good. Actually, let's just take all of those 4. So that's The Labyrinth, As She Climbed Across the Table, and that's Under the Skin by Michael Faber. And then one more, so it should be a Philip K. Dick probably. I would really like to read, where's it gone? The Man in the High Castle. I know that's a bit obvious, but I've been meaning to read it for ages, so that's 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. Let's see what the Dice of Destiny have in store. Dice of Destiny for shelf 50. Number 3. It's not Bob Shaw or The Steerswoman or As She Climbed Across the Table or Under the Skin or, sadly, The Man in the High Castle, but it is The Labyrinth Key, which is on the 101 best novels list. Fabulous. I think we'll do one more. 31. Right, shelf 31 is at the top here, which is mostly Chris Beckett, but not entirely. So let's pick Pascal's Angels, which is a Paul Macaulay. I've read many, but not all of these. And there's a couple up here as well. So let's go with Holy Machine. I've read both of those. America City I haven't read. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then The Turing Chest and Marcher will be 6. Okay. Dice of Destiny for shelf 31. Number 2. So number 2 we said, so it's not those guys or any of those, but it is The Holy Machine, which is splendid. I'm very excited by this batch of books, so let's quickly take a spin through them in no particular order. First up is Christopher Priest, A Dream of Wessex, which is a book I've been meaning to read for a while. It's pretty slender. It's in the very nice Pan Lozenge edition. I do also have a copy of it in the first edition hardback, and it's a bit of a dilemma which to read. I actually might read the hardback because I do enjoy this smaller size. I think it's octavo size of hardback. It fits very nicely in the hand, and it will also avoid me doing anything to crease the spine on the paperback. So I'll put that back on the shelves and we'll have this one instead. So Dream of Wessex, I don't know a huge amount. I think, if I remember rightly, it's about sort of virtual world. Yeah, there's something called the Wessex Foundation, an industrially funded electronic think tank. This is a book of evocative disparities between the stresses of contemporary life and the tranquil, idyllic world of the imagined Wessex, between the emotional turbulence of a possessive sexuality and a simple love affair. Je suis intrigué. Don't think that's a French word. And then an old favourite of mine is Heliconia Spring, and it's a very nice, good old-fashioned Granada. I do have it in hardback as well, as you may have seen on the shelf picking video. I probably will also read this in the hardback too. Oh, yeah, all right, I'll get it down. Just be patient. I actually prefer the imagery on the paperback, but anyway, I shall read the hardback because there's less chance of damaging that. And these 3 books tell the tale of a planet, Heliconia, which orbits a binary star. Well, it orbits one star, but that star orbits around another star, and so they have that binary star affects the seasons, and they have the usual cycle of 4 seasons, but then there's a kind of longer range arc of seasons, which have sort of civilizational level effects when it gets really cold and or really hot. And there's a competing species on the planet, and then there's some humans in orbit observing the whole thing, and we get to see it from afar as a result. Really beautiful, as I recall anyway, really beautiful stories. I do remember finding it a little bit hard going the first time I read it, but then I was in my kind of mid-teens, and I read it a little bit after that, not very long, a few years after that, and enjoyed it the second time around. So it's been a long time, 30, 40 years since I've read it. So I'm looking forward to giving that another go. And then we've got Gwyneth Jones' White Queen, which is a book I've been meaning to read for a while. I haven't yet read it. It's in its bag, so I can't even look at the blurb to tell you what it's about, because it's just got a picture of Gwyneth on the back. If you've read it, you can give me a rough idea. And then we've got Kite World by Keith Roberts, author of Purveyne and Chalk Kings and Furies, amongst other things. And this, I think this is signed. Yeah, it is. Look, signed by the man himself. It's in the Gone Lengths yellow jacket, as you saw. I think some of this was originally published as short stories, if I remember rightly. And it says it on the flap here, something like a cross between Thomas Hardy and Russell Hoban, and powerfully imaginative and absorbing. Mind you, that was reviewing Purveyne, which is no good to us whatsoever, is it? In Kite World, Keith Roberts has invented a very different world, but one which in its sheer imaginative force recalls his earlier creations. It's difficult while reading to believe that the strange society he portrays does not exist. And then, slightly trepidatiously, my next ballad. I've only read 3 so far, Crash, which I hated, and The Crystal World, which I didn't hate. Didn't love it either, but I didn't hate it. I'm looking forward to reading this. Lots of people have said I should read this next. I think I've seen the Tom Hiddleston movie, but I've never read the book. So that will be my next one. And then bang up to date, just within the last couple of years, These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs, which I think is, space opera, intricate world building, compelling prose and twisty politics artfully woven together. Perfect for fans of Anne Leckie and John Scalzi. It's immersive and epic, a sprawling space opera perfect for fans of A Memory Called Empire, which I enjoyed, and Too Like the Lightning, which is Ada Palmer's books, which I did like. I did find it hard going at times, but so political space opera is what this sounds like. And for all you old farts out there, yes, it's probably got a female protagonist, and maybe there's a bit of non-traditional sexuality in there, who knows, but fuck it, it's 2025, what do you want? And then we've got The Labyrinth by Howard V. Hendricks, which is on the Broderick and DeFilippo 101 best novels list. Is a US v China thing, trying to build a quantum computer with infinite capabilities. Machines become gods, gods become machines, and the once impossible now lies within reach. The key to unlimited knowledge will create the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, or humanity's last chance to save itself. And then Kim Stanley Robinson says here on the back, one of the very best novelists writing in science fiction today. I don't think he was talking about himself there. I presume he was talking about the author. So that's meant to be pretty good. And then a book I'm excited to read is The Holy Machine by Chris Beckett. I've read quite a bit of his work over the last year or so, and keen to read on. And this was I think I'm right saying this was his first published novel. He had a bunch of short stories to his name. And this is a first edition, I think it's in Wildside Press. There is a hardback, but that's rare as rocking horse shit. The man himself actually sent this to me in the post after I was waxing lyrical about the cover. He said, I think I've got a spare of that, I can send it to you. And indeed he did, which is very kind of him. Man goes on tour to religiously intolerant countries with his sex robot is the summary of this. I understand. And then my 2 readers' picks for March are Where Late the Sweet Bird Sang by Kate Wilhelm, which is a book that I've been meaning to read for ages, so I should be happy to get around the outside of that. And that's a story about cloning, the best story about cloning ever, apparently. And then another book on the Broderick and DeFilippo 101 best novels list is The Yiddish Policeman's, I was going to say Ball, the Yiddish Policeman's Union. They're not going to a dance, which is a police procedural set in an alternate history where the state of Israel failed to thrive in its first couple of years of existence in the late 1940s, and the Jewish people were offered a homeland on a strip of coastland in Alaska. I think that's going to be a pretty good month. If I get through all of those, I should be a happy camper. Let me know what you're planning to read if you've decided already. But otherwise, as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.